Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Writing Advice While I Clean, because my brain doesn't turn off, especially when I'm doing menial tasks like cleaning. Today we are cleaning my girls' room. My girls are young, so cleaning is not something they're very good at yet. It's specifically cleaning slash organizing. So I'm helping them with that. I got them a large, not this. Back behind me is our previous tub we were using. The problem with this nice big beautiful tub with these nice handles, it's nice and thick. Problem with it is it doesn't fit under their beds. And we have a small room with two girls in it. So, yeah, while I clean, let's talk about the writing advice show, don't tell. And yeah, I need to go get my trash bag. Hold on. We have trash. Boy, howdy, do we have trash. Okay. While I clean and organize, because look, we have like a bow. It's crazy. Anyways, while I clean, we're going to talk about show, don't tell. Um, and we're not going to talk about how that's not helpful writing advice because I feel like plenty of people far more, not educated, but more experienced, and just a lot of people have talked about how that's not the most helpful advice for writers, specifically of writers of prose, of books and novellas and all those kinds of things. It's not the most helpful thing in the world. I'm cleaning up Legos. That's why I'm on the floor. um, so it's not the most helpful. But this little video was inspired by actually me reading a book that I had to DNF. I am a professional. Oh, I'm out of focus. So this video is inspired by me DNFing a book. I was reading this book because I saw it all over the place. And I'm not even going to mention what book it is because I was so upset by it. Now, I wasn't upset like mad at it. I was annoyed. I was annoyed. Now, I wasn't annoyed at any characters. I wasn't annoyed at any plot. But what I was annoyed about are a couple different things I'm going to make some videos out of because it was it was inspiring. It made me real feisty. So I figured let's milk this thing. So first thing is there this author's use of show and tell. Okay, so the advice that is usually given is show, don't tell. That's physically impossible. That is literally impossible if you're writing prose. You have to tell. That's how words work. The advice show, don't tell is most helpful for people making movies and TV show because it is literally show. We don't want you telling. That's why we're watching because it's a show. So for writers, we have to tell to some extent. Okay? This particular author in this book was doing show and tell. Now, sometimes show and tell works, particularly when we're dealing with events. When something happens, we want to see how it affects the characters and we want to hear them talk about it. That's show and tell done correctly. Like, so in Harry Potter, when he, I don't know, loses somebody important to him, they are no longer part of this mortal coil. We want to see him be upset, see him process it, but we also want to hear him talk about it, which is a problem because he's a teenage boy. So, anyways, but he internally talks to himself about it. So that's helpful. We want show and tell in that situation to reflect on it properly with the characters. Okay? Okay. We want it to affect things. That's the show. We want them to talk about it, if not out loud, at least internally. That's the tell. Okay? Okay. See what the problem is then. The problem because when we do show and tell in dialogue, specifically. So, this is my writing advice. Show and tell is not allowed in dialogue. Show or tell. Do not do both. Let me give you examples. So, in this book that I had to DNF because it was driving me absolutely up a wall, was when this author was doing show and tell in dialogue. You don't have to do show and tell in dialogue when the villain talking, the bad guy or whoever, the bad guy talking, we have already established he's the bad guy. We understand that. Cuts off the character talking who he's talking to, cuts her off, and then you add the tag, he said gruffly. We know he said it gruffly. He cut her off. It was a short, clipped sentence. We don't need that. You already, and it wasn't a one-time thing. Before you get mad at me for being dramatic. No, this was every single exchange between characters. The words that they're using to speak tell us how they're speaking because you've already characterized the characters well. We understand their motivations very well. You've described them well. You've showed us how they walk. Okay, so the lady who's walking like this, she's gonna be a little sassy with her talk. We don't need you to then say she said with a sassy attitude. You don't need it. We don't need show and tell. We need one or the other. You can interchange. And the most helpful way to interchange these two is like if someone shouts, we understand they're shouting. We should be able to tell by context whether they are shouting because they're afraid or angry. Okay? You don't need to have them shout and then say they said angrily. We should be able to figure that out because we're not stupid. When you need to use a tag like they said angrily is when it's not clear from what they said. It's when they have a long speech that where they're basically just giving information of like, as you know, or explaining themselves and their behavior, telling why something happened, giving information, then you can give a tag of like, they said quickly, they said angrily, those kinds of things, or a more descriptive thing than I'm just giving quick adverbs as an example. So here's the main problem with doing show and tell. You need to do it carefully because if you do it too much, you are telling the reader they're dumb and that you don't trust them. Don't make the reader feel dumb. That was part of why this book that I DNF'd was so annoying. It's because they were constantly explaining what I already understood. So that's my writing advice for today while I clean up my children's Legos and half spill them again. It's just a constant. If you have Legos in the house, they're just constantly needing to be organized. It's just how it goes. So that is for today. So if you're writing, tread carefully, friends. Stay thirsty, my friends. Don't show and tell if you can help it, because you're no longer being clear. You're being annoying and making the reader feel dumb. Don't do that. Okay? Next time. Bye bye.